Great.
Ready to
Action.
go.
Very good. So, hi everyone. My name's Kevin Helly, and I'm jointly leading the Data and Analytics program with Jonathan Crook from Southeast Water. I'm from Melbourne Water, and just checking everyone. Cameron, am I coming across okay in terms of voice?
Yep.
That's fine.
Great.
Yeah.
Excellent. So, if you go to the next slide, please, Cam. So in our overview of the program today, we'll give you a quick reminder of the previous completed projects. I'll describe our working group and the activities along with the potential priority projects that have been identified by the working group. Jonathan's going to delve into more detail for you on one of the projects. That's the Smart Sewer project, which is we're preparing the business case for at the moment. Hopefully that'll get up and going this year. And excuse me. Just further down. And I'll finish off with a description of some of the additional opportunities that we're looking at in the program as well. So Cam, next slide. Just a quick recap on the two projects that we've completed under the program under its previous name of the flagship program. So both the Waternamics and the OSI Pi projects listed here, they have reports that you can access from the IWN Knowledge Hub. The Waternamics system is actually in operation at Western Water at the moment, and so you can arrange to go and see it there if you want to. It's a really cool system that brings information from about 8 or so different information sources into one platform that is used for decision support in their operations centre. And the second project there, the OSI Pi software trial, that demonstrated about 9 different data dashboards and visualizations of various types, which showcase the type of value you can get from the use of time series information and time series data historians. So, and those dashboards are available for water businesses to deploy. And along with that, there's a means by which, with the software providers, that businesses that don't have OSI Pi can get on board to trial and adopt that for themselves. Next, please, Cam. So, and one more button, I think, Cam will. Yep. So the working group kicked off over a year ago, and it has a focus on 3 main things. It's sharing and networking, increasing capability in data and analytics, and collaborating on projects. So we meet monthly, and we occasionally hold an all-day workshop where we present case studies, collectively work on defining new project opportunities, even adding in some short training sessions into that. Next slide, Ken. Got a list of the working group members here, and it's fair to say that participation has been a bit patchy at times, with some members rarely joining in, others being more consistent, and we typically get about 6 or 7 members attending our monthly Zoom meetings. And I'd like to take the opportunity to ask the champions here watching to take note of the working group member that your water business has in our data and analytics program, so that you can coordinate with them, because they're a potential another good help for you to make the most of IWN initiatives within your business, and you can also help them understand how IWN operates as well. Next slide, Ken. So our working group has prepared project definitions for these 5 priority areas. 2 of these projects are being scoped up in more detail to initiate as IWN projects. The first one on the list there, predicting sewer blockages, is the most well developed and proposal, and Jonathan will describe that for us shortly. And the second is the one that's last on the list there, that the cloud-based collaboration space for pump performance data, which our metro region champions are working on. In addition, I'll just draw your attention to that third dot point on CCTV footage and the opportunity to work collaboratively on image analysis. So we're progressing this idea with a start around knowledge sharing on what the water businesses are doing in this space, because a number of the water businesses already have projects that are being run. Before we jump in, there's an opportunity to get on the table where everyone's at with their experience. Note that there's also an excellent webinar that Michael Thomas arranged on this topic last month that you can access on the Knowledge Hub. So I'll hand over to Jonathan now. So Cam, next slide. Jonathan, do you want to join in there?
I can find how to unmute myself. I'll get right on it. You can hear that, Kevin?
Yep.
You're still there? Cool. So thanks for that. So in terms of the smart sewer network, so obviously sewers are a pretty major risk in Victoria in general, largely due to the fact that the age of the assets that we're getting, it's getting to a time when they're becoming a little bit less unstable, so to speak. We also have a lot of different high-value waterways in most of our regions, beaches and streams, which are like, so spillage or blockages from these sewer networks can lead to significant damage to these waterways, and obviously the associated negative publicity and fines and as they damage to the waterways. There's also an increasing amount of risk coming in from the increased use of grease and oils in cooking, and also the different new flushable items, which obviously aren't so flushable, which are ending up in these assets. The assets themselves are also pretty hard to monitor. Obviously they're underground, they can be dangerous to access, they're generally confined spaces, and they're obviously costly to inspect and maintain. So everyone, I guess, is looking for a solution to make this easier to do and potentially cheaper and more efficient. And with the increasing development of digital assets, digital devices, I mean, and as they get cheaper, people are looking to those as a potential solution for being able to proactively monitor the sewage network. Now, this is sort of where the idea of the smart sewer network comes in that we can put multiple digital devices in, monitor them in potentially real time or near real time. And then that's if it's required. Obviously, it can be less frequent for lower risk assets. And this is, I guess, this is then when the data analytics side of it comes into it, and that's that we want to know how we can utilize the data that these devices are generating and how we can use that to potentially predict a failure prior to it occurring. What assets or what insights or patterns can be drawn from the data. Also where an optimal deployment of the various sensors might be. So we don't want to invest or throw money at too many sensors if that's going to overcover the network, but also we don't want to miss anything by not putting enough of these devices out. And basically we want to see if we can be more proactive and preventative rather than reactive to an event occurring. So we don't want to rush out there and try and fix something. We want to be able to maintain or go out there and solve the problem prior to an event occurring. So that goes on to the next slide, please. So in that way, there's been a lot of interest in this project, this idea of a smart sewer network. I mean, it's something that's being done, say, internationally at the moment. So it's something that a lot of the Victorian utilities are looking at. There's been a lot of interest from our group. And with that, we're lucky enough to get a proposal from Barwon Water, who are looking to trial a number of digital sensors in a high-risk location in terms of its environmental consequence in their network. And they're looking, as I say, to trial a number of digital sensors and what potentially machine learning algorithms could be utilized in conjunction with that data to predict sewer blockages or sewer failures in their network. They've got a potential partnership with Deakin University associated with that, the experts there. And they're looking to start out with a single site, obviously starting out with what can be learned from individual devices, but then also building that through to the entire network and potentially combining with the hydraulic models. And we think there's a lot of benefits that can be gained to the other utilities by being involved in this project, and that's why we're looking to get behind it. And that's obviously in looking at the outcomes, the algorithms that may be developed through this trial, but it's also more than that, and that's a lot of it's to do with the framework. So trying to work out what learnings you might gain from this, both in what's successful and what difficulties were encountered, so that other people, when they start to develop their own trials, can be one step ahead. Also looking at, as I say, the frameworks around deployment of sensors, and then also to do with how does the business case stack up? Because that's something that we found that a lot of people have been having difficulties with, is what financial benefits can justify the cost involved with putting these devices in. So yeah, we're pretty excited about this as a project proposal. I know that Dean's looking to take this to the exec to hopefully get approval for that, and so we're looking forward to being involved. And that'll be, I'll let you go on to the next slide and move on back to Kevin, or as I continue with this? I think you were going with this.
No, I'll wrap up if you like, Jonathan. That was fantastic. So this is our last slide. Just wrapping up with some of the additional, mostly collaborative style activities that we've got happening under the program. It's not just a working group, as the title suggests. So the most strategic of these that we're progressing is probably that first one, which comes off the back of the work Deakin University did for us last year, or I think it was last year, on the state of digitisation of the Victorian water businesses. That sort of linked in with Victorian government drivers around the Data Sharing Act and Office of Projects Victoria's Victorian Digital Asset Strategy. And so there's great opportunity for us to get more involved in digital engineering, looking at how we advance in the use of asset information for lifecycle management of assets, and that relates to the asset management optimization program as much as our program as well. So we'll be wanting to advance on that topic. I've already talked a bit about CCTV. I won't labour it for the sake of time. I'll just let you know that there's a little bit of collaboration happening with the software provider for OSI Pi on their licensing. And late last year, we also kicked off a user group, starting with Pi users in Victoria, Tasmania, and South Australia. But really, it's about how we knowledge share on the use of time series data. So I've only had the one kickoff meeting in December on that topic. So we'll probably meet quarterly. If you're interested in that, yeah, do come and have a word with me. And that's really all. Thanks for listening and hearing about our program.
Excellent. Thanks, guys. Any questions while I load the next one up? Any questions from the group? All right. Bear with me while I stop the recording.